Say hi, peoples. Say hi, peoples, because they can hear you.
Talk to them. Yes, you can talk to them.
Good evening.
Look who's over there on that screen.
Well, we have a special guest sitting over here.
Is that Papa up there? Look.
Wait a minute.
There. Is that Papa?
Let me see if I can.
Oh, black.
Oh yeah. Oh, look. The trolls are in the way. He can't see. There you go. Look. Anthony, look. Right here. Over here. Look. Is that Anthony? Oh, there is Anthony.
This would be Anthony. This is our youngest
Right there you are.
grandchild.
Yes, right there you are.
Don't know if he's the last grandchild or not, but he's the youngest one.
Baba.
And
Yeah.
Baba.
we have the wonderful fortune of keeping him for a couple days, and
Wow.
he is a handful.
Yes, he is.
He is a handful. So anyway, we'll. So he may put some input into this as we go on here, but
No, you don't touch. See, Country Girl knows your name.
yeah, Bronco says hi, Anthony.
I need Papa.
Yeah, we're going to call you Why Not for short, aren't we?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. The girls came up with calling him Why Not. Because we were told that even as he gets older, we are not allowed to shorten his name to Tony. So I don't know, the girls are watching something on TV and they figured out that's Papa. That's Papa.
Yeah, they figured out.
They figured out backwards Tony spells Why Not. So he's going to be Why Not.
Toe.
Yeah.
Yellow toe.
I see the toe.
So let's go ahead and kind of jump into this.
You silly.
As most of you know, if you've been here before,
Don't play there.
we try to help out folks
Put that in your hair.
that are perhaps looking to start editing videos, to maybe want to up their game, want to learn some tips and tricks. We're featuring Filmora as an editor because, hey, you buy the program for life, and you get all the upgrades that come with it. They have additional things you can purchase along the way if you want to, but that's solely at your discretion.
Yeah, put it down.
The editing program that I have from Filmora does not have any paid extras on it. So whatever additional items that this program has, that's simply because it's been upgraded over the past couple of years or so. And
You like it?
for $60, costs more than that to fill up my pickup truck. So it's not a bad deal, and you get a whole lot more with it than you do with the with some free editors.
Another one?
And you could do a lot more with it. So we are not affiliated with Filmora. I kind of wish we were, because I know there's probably, I don't know, 10 or 12 people anyway that have purchased this program simply because of watching this show. And we started doing this when YouTube did away with their editor,
Keep your fingers out of there.
and all of a sudden people had to find a different way to edit videos.
You eat the one.
Windows had one called Movie Maker.
How many gallons in the truck?
It's a 35-gallon tank, I think, or 38. So
What?
when gas prices are approaching $3 a gallon, it's
Black.
That's Smudge.
I'm not sure you have enough left from a $100 bill to go and go to McDonald's. So anyway, see what all's in here. Grandma Rose. Boy, there's somebody that has done quite a bit with this. And she comes back every week. Duncan 1900. Brown coat. Steve, how are you this evening?
We'll be seeing Duncan 1900 come October.
Okay. Retired and prepping. Rambling Mountain Rose.
That's Connie.
Connie?
That's it.
It's Connie.
Okay.
Connie.
Yeah. Smudge.
And I thought I saw Finite World earlier.
Yes.
And, oh yeah, there's Finite World. Living Miracle Homestead. Yeah, mine takes $65 right now. So, yeah, it's, you know, people can complain about the cost, but it's not an ongoing cost. Is it the absolute best editing program out there? No, it is not. But it's full featured. You can do a lot with it. And if nothing else, it is one heck of a stepping stone to go into some of the other what should I say, studio type programs like Vegas Pro or Adobe's program.
Want one more? Is it gone in your mouth?
But with those, you're paying $600-700, or else you're into a monthly subscription. You can go the Adobe route, and for $20 a month forever,
I'll give you another one.
You can have an editor. That's pretty steep, folks. So, Country Girl, good evening. Dare to prepare. Glad to see you here. So anyway, let's get right into this. I did not get any emails this week, unless they just came in the past few minutes here, that had any questions on doing anything with the program. And this is another thing, folks. If you're using Filmora and if you're stuck on a subject, you're working on trying to get something accomplished. Are you going to tell him, Anthony?
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to tell him.
Okay.
But if you're stuck on something, you can shoot us an email. We can get together on the phone, chat about it, and of course, Filmora, they have their own support as well. So it's a supported program, and we will do our best to help you out with anything you might have. So,
turn off the flash.
when you first open up the program, you come across the screen that you see on the page here. There's an easy mode. I don't recommend you use the easy mode because you have pretty much no control. Now, if you have a lot of pictures, a lot of slides, if you would, you can create some very, very neat slideshows with the easy mode.
Get your hand out of that
And of course, once you create that video, you can go in and further edit it.
Go.
Yeah, well.
The instant cutter,
That's enough.
well, this is,
That's enough.
it's a heck of a program, but this allows you to go into a video, open up a video, and pretty much instantly cut it up into pieces.
No more.
No
You
more.
can,
No more.
No more.
No more.
No more.
Papa.
Get your hand out of the drawer. You're gonna.
Anthony.
Daddy.
Anthony,
Papa's talking.
Daddy.
Papa. Daddy's working.
Daddy.
goodness. So anyway, you can open up a video, and let's just say that you did your video with a video cam. I'm trying, folks. I don't know if I can overdo him or not.
We may have to go in the bedroom and watch TV.
But you can open up your video, or I'm sorry, you take a video with a video cam where you maybe set it up in the corner and you've got 2 hours of video that you need to cut down into 10 or 15 minutes. You just want certain clips out of it. This instant cutter is a great tool to do that with. The action cam tool, that's just what it says. There's some special pieces in that if you're using a quote-unquote action cam, there's some enhancements for doing that, because a lot of the action cams have a fisheye effect. They're not as smooth as what a lot of people think they were touted to be. Full feature mode is where you probably will always go, other than the aforementioned
Wait a minute. You can speak Spanish?
slideshows or the instant cutter program. And you want to set your project aspect ratio
Learn how to count in
at
English.
16 to 9. That gives you a full-size screen.
2,
If you have a
3.
if you have a cell phone and you hold the cell phone vertically instead of horizontally, your aspect ratio in that is a 9 by 16. So if you take your video in a 9 by 16, there's really nothing you can do to eliminate that format.
Wow.
There's always going to be the black bars on the side. You can mask them. You can zoom into the video and spread it out further, but then it starts to become pixelated. You lose quality. So always remember, with your phone, you want to film with your phone horizontally. That gives you a full screen on YouTube and many other platforms. So we're gonna open this up into full feature mode.
There it is.
A mouse.
There's a mouse.
A mouse.
A mouse.
A mouse.
This is a mouse.
A mouse.
And one of the things that I wanted to
Well, Connie, not to interrupt, interrupt Daryl, but the first time, this is the first time I heard him count like that in Spanish, and I'm sure it's his mom's mom and sister that are teaching him, I'm sure. But found out today that he knows some other words quite well, as in truck.
Truck.
For a 2-year-old.
No.
Yes.
A truck.
Yeah, truck.
Truck.
Uh-huh.
Truck.
Yeah.
A truck.
As loud as he could be in Kroger's. That's all he said all the way up and down the aisle.
yeah, we took him to the grocery store here today, and our Kroger's has this little cart that's just the right size for him. So he was pushing it all over the store. Yeah, he was walking the whole store. He did real good.
Walking.
So he used his version of truck and
Mommy.
something else that comes out.
Yeah. Mommy.
HH blank T.
No.
What?
Mommy.
Yeah, help
Okay.
you?
One of the things I wanted to talk about was the titling, text, credits. There's a pretty good size set of titles, especially after a year's worth of just normal upgrades. Because every time they do an upgrade, they seem to throw a few more in there. And many of their titles are in a 2-part format.
Anthony.
To just preview anything, you just simply highlight it. It'll show in the view screen over here by hitting the play button.
Celia and Katie.
Ice cream.
You're eating ice cream. That's right. Yeah.
Mommy.
No, you're not opening my door.
So just
No
a plain
more candy.
text would be like this one.
No.
I'll take that back. That has a background in it. This was part of their confetti pack, they called it.
June.
Done.
How you doing, sweetie?
These titles that have this type of background is what you just saw here. And let's do another one.
What?
The background on this is actually a small video. So let me bring that down to the area where you do your editing. And you can see that it shows a video file, and it also shows the text file. This is where the
Look, there's pop-up on this.
where the information is for the wording. Now, because it's 2 pieces,
Go.
I can move the text away from it. And if I play just the text,
You gonna get off?
this is what you
Where are
get.
you going? Okay, where are you going?
Now let's just say that for some reason,
Shh.
and you can't adjust the length on this because it's a small video file. And let me clarify that.
Here,
You can
sit right
change the
here.
length of video files, but it would be, when you do that in a video file,
No.
if you use the entire file, it slows everything down by stretching it out. And just to show that, the duration here is 7.21, so I'm just going to increase it to
This little piggy. Did this little piggy?
13.21. So I added 5 seconds
You want to mark it?
to this file.
Let's sit up here.
So now if I play it,
Okay. This little piggy want to mark it?
and that may be sufficient if that's what you want to do.
Roast beef.
But if you want this for a background
Piggy had none.
on something
This
else,
little piggy?
let's
Okay. Give me this finger. This little piggy want to mark it.
if you watch it now, you can see how much slower everything moves.
Roast beef. This little piggy had none. Yeah, this little piggy. This little piggy want to mark it. This little piggy stayed up. This little
Now, if that's the effect you're looking for, that's fine. But I think people may want just this background to have something over top of
little piggy.
without doing that. So let me stop this. And I could go reformat it, but they have a back button that's good for about, depending upon how you configure it, I think 50 steps.
This little piggy went to market. This little piggy.
Okay, we're right back to where I
This little piggy had roast beef.
put the file in
This little piggy had
to the timeline.
and this little piggy.
We'll move the text up again. And I'm going to take this
Okay, one more time.
small video clip,
One more time.
play it, and stop it when that
This little piggy went to
globe of balls in the center becomes complete.
This little piggy stayed home.
Right there. Now it's still moving, but it's
There's Papa.
it is
This
complete.
little piggy.
So I can now highlight that small video clip and I can cut it.
So
Now the balance of the clip,
this little piggy went to market.
I can take
I'll
that,
watch tomorrow, okay?
which is currently set at 3 seconds. We're just going to
Dirt.
add some time onto it.
Yeah, that's good alone.
We'll start it from scratch, and you'll find that the beginning is normal speed, but the balls will last a lot longer.
And this little piggy had none. This little piggy. No more. Aren't you tired of it?
Okay, as far as the title part, the actual text part, we can pretty much make that any length we want. So if you double click on it to edit it or do a right click at it, let's go into the advanced, and you'll see that this title part consists of 2 pieces. It has the modern material pack as a text line and lower text as a text line.
Are you ready to go to sleep?
The reason that it was done this way is to give you the ability to modify it. If I take the lower text line And I'm going to take it and move it back. So we'll go to the beginning. You can see in this little preview window how the file acts differently. Much longer piece of time before lower text comes into the picture.
You want to sit with Nana? Okay.
You can also,
Come here, I'll wrap you in your blanket.
with any of these, we'll do the lower text because
Then you're going to go to bed. You will
it
cry.
will come in later. You'll find that there's a
Don't
preset
cry, you scream.
where there's a large selection of letters
Okay.
done up in
Don't
different
cry.
styles that allow you to very
Okay,
quickly
you cry.
jump in and do a preset look. So we'll double click this,
Hi.
and to make it easier to see, I'm going to make this a little bigger.
Where are you? I know you're in the
To
bathroom.
center it, if you notice there's a, I think you can see this there, there's a vertical line that when this box is centered on the display area, that just tells you that it's centered. Or at least it's centered to the piece above it,
Come here, you want something cold?
which also appears to be centered. If you want it centered to the screen, you can slide it up and you will get a horizontal line at the center. So it gives you a way to line up your objects. So now by simply changing this letter, the lettering, using a preset letter, we have a totally different look. On the top, let's get it a little bit different here. You have the ability to stretch your letters both horizontally and vertically by using the center buttons, or you can resize it by using the corner buttons.
Oh, you're silly.
If you find that the letters look like they're scrunched too close together, there's an adjustment up here at the top that allows you to put more space in them. So now, if we play this, it's the same thing.
I will hold it. I will hold
In other words, all we've done is
Very
we've altered the lettering, we've changed the size of the font, we have changed the color. We'll say OK.
Here,
I can take this
take another bite.
and drag it back into underneath this preset, make it just as long.
Mommy.
Now if you notice, because I stretched out the text block, is taking a lot longer time to bring up this second line. And we'll look at that a little bit closer here. So we'll stop it. Let's go ahead and look at that. We go into advanced. We're now showing that second lower text line is coming in right at about 27 seconds. So I don't want it to wait that long. I can create a bar on the end of that line. I can drag it back so that it comes in at about 8 seconds. So now
Ready for more?
when we do this. This is what it looks like. The second line comes in. But let's go just a little bit fancier here now. On this lower text, let's add some animation. So I have the lower text timeline highlighted. We can go to the animation, and there are a number of different things you can do. So, you know, I'm not going to go through all of these, but
what? There's nothing else in there.
Let's take a look at this one.
No, no more.
So if you notice, the lower text got momentarily bigger and then shrunk back down. So we'll stop that. And I'm going to say, geez, I'd rather have something a little bit different. So let's try this one. Now I can further change the time on that to speed it up, slow it down. Again, there's all kinds of adjustments on these lines. I want something a little different. I'm not sure I want Karen for that one. Let's do
What? Oh, you coming back up? Yeah. Yeah. Celia. Oi, Anthony. What did you just take? That's from my hair.
and this is just simply bringing it into view.
Up. Yeah.
If I want to change the top line,
Yeah.
and position down here on the bottom really doesn't mean a whole lot.
And there's smudge.
It's set up that
Smudge.
the closer to the starting areas, the sooner it displays, and you have all this adjustment. So we'll go here, and this has a graduated color.
I'm going to put that on your nose.
I'm going to use an image
Anthony.
to show that. So let's let me grab an image here. Here, we'll grab Justin Rhodes snapshot.
Let's do counting. 1.
So at this point, the Justin Rhodes snapshot is the background for Modern Material Pack. So we'll say OK here. And we'll say
There he is. Where's
OK
Anthony?
here.
Was he hiding?
And
Where's Anthony?
we'll go back into the media. Let me import that picture.
Where are you? Were you hiding?
So this has now become the background
Where's Anthony?
for this lettering
Anthony.
right here.
Where are you, Anthony? I see your toes. I see your leg. And your knee.
So I can take this,
Mama.
Where's Anthony?
add it onto the timeline,
Well,
and I'm not going to go all the way back because it's. Well, here's what I'll do. I'll just chop this down so it's much faster. We'll cut that, and we will cut that. Get rid of it. Rid of it.
Mommy.
And that was just a very quick, straight changeover. So let's go in and we'll put a fade on it. Rather than a fade, let's do a dissolve. Let's see if we can get it a little bit smoother. Well, all I'm doing here is stretch out the timeline so it's easier for me to see exactly what's going on here.
I know, Mommy's working.
We're going to increase the time of the transition.
Oh my, you're gonna have a fit.
And use repeat frames.
Oh, you're gonna have a fit.
Let me do that.
Would you like an apple? Come on, let's go in the bedroom. Watch TV. Here, take your sippy. Let's go in the bedroom. Come on. Oh, it's okay. Survive. Oh my gosh. Here, this way. Here, in the bedroom.
I must have some remnants sitting out here. I should be able to put that right at the very beginning here. Prefix. So that's in front of, okay. There we go. That gives it a nice fade out. And then we fade the picture out. So just some different things you can do with your titling, with your credits, with your text information. We'll go one step further here. Again, we'll go back into the advanced. Whichever one of these lines you have this on, and if you hit new text, it will continue that line. So right now I have the modern materials pack. I have that highlighted. I'm going to say add a text box. I'll bring it down here so it's out of the way. And we'll just write added. added text. Let's make it a little bigger so it's easier to see. And we want that same image in there. So we'll select the exact same picture. We'll take the lower text clear out. We'll just delete it. And I'm going to change the timing on this so the added text comes in afterwards. So it now looks like this. So I don't know if that helped you folks at all or not, but I know that there's been I have had people in the past ask me, well, how do I make my titles a little fancier? How do I change the font? How do I change the colors? What can I do with this? Oh, Rock's Corners has stopped in. When I start working on the editor, I don't pay any attention to the chat or anything else. My mind is kind of locked into that. So if I have missed something, I apologize. Blissful Acres Off-Grid Homestead. Welcome to the program. I don't recognize your name. So thank you for coming. Well, thank all of you for being here. We always have a nice kind of small group here on Tuesday nights. If you have any questions on how to do something, throw them in the chat. Well, I'm glad you're here tonight, Blissful Acres. And thank you for being here, Country Girl. She's one of our Country Girl and Finite World are a couple of our outstanding moderators that help us out on Monday nights, and they show up and help me out on Tuesday nights, and we love them to death. We certainly appreciate all they do. And I think they all have their own little trolls. Is there a way to cut the wind noise in the background and leave the voice? To a degree, there is. Let me, as far as the program is concerned, it thinks that there is sound in this little video, even though there is not. We can no, we can't. It knows there's no sound. Well, let's do this. New project. Whoops. No, I don't want to save any changes. All right, well, I know that there's some sound in this. It's just music, but there is sound. And I'm going to turn it down some. Let me see here. Got to grab the right control. There we go. If the audio is attached to the video, you do not have to separate it in Filmora. Now keep in mind, this is not an audio editing program, but it does have some minor things you can do. So let's just take a quick peek here. If you just double click on it without detaching the audio, so at this point this is still primarily looking at the video, but there is a section up here at the top that's called audio. And if you click that, here's what you can do. On any section of audio, and when I say section, I mean divided by a split in the file, you can control the volume. You can have a fade in or fade out. You can control the pitch. There is an equalizer that can be applied with a number of presets, or you can customize the equalizer to your own specific environment by simply going in and changing. They have a feature here called denoise. It says remove background noise, and it has 3 settings. By default, it weakly removes background noise. And there's a mild removal and a strong removal. It's kind of a broad-based removing tool. I have found if the wind noise is not really bad, you can do a pretty respectable job with this by coming in, using the remove background noise button. In the times that I have used it, I've kicked it all the way up to strong, and then I find that I have to build some of the vocal sound back up again by normally customizing the equalizer and add some of the lower tones back up in, and just drop the high ones off. So to answer your question, absolutely, there is a limited amount you can do. Now I showed you how to get to the editing portion here with the sound still being attached to the video. Let's go in and there's a feature called audio detach. Well, at this point, the audio is totally detached from the video. I can move it around separately. It is no longer in sync. Well, it is in sync right now because I haven't moved anything. So you could move the audio so it is no longer in sync with the video. This is something that can get you into some problems if you have talking. And what I mentioned before about, well, let's go back. All right, we have the audio is now attached. We're on the video editing portion. We'll go into the audio. I'm going to move up here, just a little bit. I'm going to cut the file. And I'm just going to make numerous cuts here. to show you a little bit of the things you can do. All right, I've sliced up 1, 2, 3, 4. I've sliced 5 pieces off the front of this file. But if I don't move them and you play the file, you cannot tell it. Okay, so I can hear what's going on. Let me put my ear on. All right, we'll stop and go back. Were you folks able to hear that okay? I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit more here. Play a little bit again. I don't want to blow you out of your seats. All right. Let's go to the first piece. And I'm in the audio editing portion. I'm going to increase the volume in the first piece. And I'm going to have it fade out. I usually set my fade outs at around a second. This is 0.96 seconds. So the second one, I'm going to increase the volume to 200 on it. And I'm going to fade it in. The third one, I'm going to change the pitch. I'm going to lower the pitch. And the fourth one, I'm going to raise the pitch. And on this one, I'm going to use an equalizer preset. So at this point, which will be 19 seconds, that's when the sound will be as it was originally. And then we're back to the original sound. You can make some changes while it's playing. And one of the reasons things were probably sounding pretty strange was I had all the background noise denoised. So let's do this. We'll take that back off. And I have to change every one because I went through every one. And I forgot to take it off. I apologize. All right. So now let's hear what these different sounds are. And I know that's not vocal with wind noise in the background, but I'm hoping you get the idea of what you can do with the limited amount of editing there is on the audio. And of course you can also, let's just get rid of this. Oh, another thing, and it's not worth buying Filmora for this, but another little small, very small feature you get is there is some music that is included. There's not a tremendous amount, but there is some. So I'm looking for something that okay. Turn that down a little bit. Then we go to the editing. So just to run through these different features again here. You can change the speed of the music. Obviously, not something you probably want to do, but there are certain times when you would. Wonderful Microsoft. Continue playing this. So while it's playing, you can adjust the volume. Again, this is on a completed track, a piece of clip that's end to end, controls that entire piece. And the reason I want to point that out is because there's another place you can do that. Let's we're back to the normal default settings. There is an audio mixer. This controls the entire timeline, not the clip. So we're in our first music track, and I'm going to turn it down. And we can test it here. And I can turn it up. You can, if you like, you can start playing with some surround sound and stuff like that, but not for YouTube. Just leave it on stereo, that's fine. You can pan from left to right. And you have a master volume, which controls all the tracks. And you might want to know, well, why do you need the two different controls, one for the clip and one for the music? Well, here's why. Let me and I'm going to cut this and we get rid of a lot of the extra on the end. Let's grab something else. Okay, so at this point, I have two different types of music on the track. These are relatively close in volume, but they could be totally different. Let's make something more drastically different. Not enough difference. Okay, so if I go into this audio mixer and I lower the volume on the first music one track, it's across the board. Everything is lower. Let's go back to this first one. I want the first one to be more prominent. So we'll double click on that and we'll turn the volume up. And I'm going to go to exaggeration points. I'm not saying you need to do this, but I'm trying to quickly show some of the differences. Another thing you can do with Filmora is I can take the second soundtrack, I can overlay it on the first one, and it will just kind of chop it off. They don't play together, but I've shortened the first one, and the second one kicks in sooner. It gives you the ability to quickly put together a breaking point if you want to match with something on the video. So now it sounds like this. We'll go to this first piece. Here, we'll fade it out over 1¼ seconds. The second piece, we're going to fade it in 36, but I want the volume to be much lower. Let's hear what that sounds like. So if you wanted to do a voiceover, you want the music and or sounds to shift at a specific point. You can move things around to do that. Blissful Acres, I'm looking here. I didn't want to ruin my video. Okay. Your original video is never touched. Rocks Corners, no, you do not have to. You do not. What do they call it? They don't call it scientific, but they call it. Well, I know what you mean. You don't have. You don't have to give credit on the music. Now, having said that, I have used some Filmora music, and I have been flagged for it. So when I get flagged for it, I simply appeal the flag and I say, it came with my Filmora program. And then they release it within a day. Can you fade out with the music? Absolutely. And I did that here, but again, just to point it out, I'm going to exaggerate it. I'm going to have it fade out over 3 seconds. Actually, almost 4 seconds. I'll tell you what, that is just so loud, it's clipping. So let me just turn the entire thing down a little bit. And I apologize if I hurt anybody's speakers. It's not my fault. Blissful Acres, you should have been able to hear that just kind of drop off. Yes, you can do voiceovers. Good heavens, we're after 9 o'clock here. Let's do this. And I'm going to detach the audio. I'm going to remove the audio. So now I just simply have a video file. That plays like this. Incidentally, this was all done with Filmora. And I'm going to say record. So I'm going to record a voiceover. You can either do it from the screen up here, or you can press the little microphone over here. Now, having said all this, I've never tried this live. I just have the one hot mic. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. Okay. Brings up the microphone. I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but we'll find out. When you're ready to record, you click on the microphone. It gives you a short countdown, and then it starts rolling. You can watch the video over here to the right while you're talking. So it goes 3, 2, 1. It's now recording, and the video is now playing. And this was simply a short promo that I made up of slides to feature Filmora for kind of a different opening for the show. And therefore, we're going to find out if this works now. So I click the button in the bottom here. It says it's been added to the timeline. I say okay. It created a file here. So it looks like it worked. Let's go back. It's now recording and the video is now playing. And this was simply a short promo that I made up of slides to feature Filmora for kind of a different opening for the show. Okay, so obviously that works. Let's put some music behind it. And I know that I'm going to want the music to be very soft behind it, so I'm going to turn it down considerably. Let's just start with it there. Let's see what it sounds like. It's now recording and the video is now playing. And this was simply a short promo. I'm going to say I remembered I turned this down. Let me get it back up to normal levels. Try it again. It's now recording and the video is now playing. And this was simply a short promo that I made up of slides to feature Filmora for kind of a different opening for the show. And therefore, we're going to find out if this works now. So there you go. I hope that gives you a starting point to go in and experiment. As I mentioned to, I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was. As I mentioned to somebody earlier, your original file is never hurt. The only way you can hurt that file is to overwrite it. If you were to, and I'm not sure this will even let you do that, but you can, when you're done with your creation, you simply export it. You can export it directly to YouTube if you want. You can do it locally. I generally do it locally. I run everything locally. I double check it and then I upload it to YouTube. You can, but if I like this to be finished, I can hit export. MP4 is the format that you're going to want to use pretty much forever. If you're doing YouTube, just use MP4. You give the file a name, save it to a location, and of course that works like any other program. You click over here on the end and you just drill down through your file manager and maybe create a new folder or something, but you simply put it wherever you want. You've given it a name. You can change the resolution. I have it set for best quality. By default, these settings jump in on top of that. So I say okay. It tells you what size the file is going to be, how long the file will last. When you hit export, it creates that MP4 file in the directory you just told it to. And you have never ever hurt your original files. They're always, you can go back and start all over again. You can also go in and I hesitate saying this, but I'm going to. If your file structure, your hard drives are big enough that you never have to remove, delete, misplace, original files, you can create a project file and go back and instantly come back in and bring up different projects that you've created. However, if you have gone in and moved all of your source files into storage area, into Antiquity, it's going to say, I can't find that file. If you know where the file is and repoint it, you can also pull those programs back up. So let me see if I can just show you here. Project to modify. No, I don't want to save any changes. We were just playing. So I can create a new project. I can open an older project. It gives me a list of recent products or recent projects. And I'm pretty sure these files are still here. So let me go down to this one, and I named this one Treasure Box. Okay, so this is a video, Sherry, that doing a box opening, and this is the entire video as I made it, the whole thing. So I'm right back to where I ended. I can go in and make a change here and upload it. I can take a piece out of this, put it in another video. I can do anything I want with it. These were my original files. So I hope that that maybe helps some folks. And I'm now showing about almost 9:15. Not quite. Any questions on anything we did here tonight, or something else that you want to see next week? Or I'm doing this for you folks. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing it for you folks. So you got to tell me what you want to see, what you want to go with. If there's any way we can help you, we'll certainly do that. You're all a bunch of great folks, and I appreciate you being here. So if anybody wants to meet up with us this weekend, Friday and Saturday, we're going to be at Kidron, Ohio, at Lehman's Hardware. It's about a 40-minute drive for us from home here. So, and folks, it looks like you all going to have to go over and see Country Girl. She's going to show her bed off in her live stream. So I don't know what she's going to do. We just won't go there. Tell her to buy me something cool. Well, we can maybe get you a cold Coke. I don't know. That would be cool. All right. Hey, thank you everybody for being here tonight. Appreciate you all. And next week we have Mother of Many Horses on Monday night. And we'll be back again next Tuesday with another little Filmora spin. Give me some help. Give me some topics to talk about for Tuesday night. And if you know somebody that wants to, would like to be on the Monday night show, we got a couple openings coming up here. Have them get a hold of us. New user to Filmora. Well, Blissful Acres, by all means, I understand. I watch a lot of stuff and I don't comment. I'm guilty of that. But we appreciate you being here. Compression on your videos. If you just create the video in an MP4, that is fine for uploading to YouTube. It's a streaming format to upload it. If you want to further compress it to keep an archive of your video files locally, you can zip them, you can do the raw compression. It's probably not a good idea to attempt any further compression than what the A264 codec allows, because not all programs can handle it. So just create an MP4 file. It's a good file size. It's playable through any format. When I say any format, I should say any operating system. It plays well on Windows, Mac, all your Android stuff, Linux, Unix, FreeBSD. MP4 is your file format of choice, in my opinion, for videos. Can you enhance? Yes, you can. You can simply go into, you can take the video and bring it in and just turn the volume up. And Why Not is coming out. Hi, Why Not? Give me a hug. Give me a hug.
Let's go back in.
No, I'm going off. Folks, I have a young one here that's past his bedtime, so we'll see you later. Have a good week. Bye-bye.
Talking about me. I can't get the TV to work.
All right.
Bye.